So that's a tune by Lennie Tristano called Two Not One that I've always liked and never learned fully, so I thought I would have that out on the stand today. I'm comparing a couple different transcriptions and recordings, making sure I know what the right notes are, because there's some spots that everyone seems to transcribe a little bit differently. This is a contrafact based on the tune I Can't Believe You're in Love with Me, and it gives me really great ideas of things I can do on a tune like that. There's a lot of superimposed moving around chromatic harmonies and things like that, but there's also a lot of what Warren Marsh or Lennie Tristano would call rhythmic displacement, metric displacement, especially going into the second A section. Basically, every A section is treated completely differently. The first one sticks to the changes a little bit more, but has this nice ascending line. Just carrying up the upper parcels of the sort of a G minor chord or a B flat 6, moving it up, and then carrying on. But as it gets into the second A section, he starts doing all these half step above type lines, but he also displaces where it starts on the beat, and this is something that these guys do a lot. Warren Marsh especially, and a lot of the phrases in this melody in particular come up a lot in Warren Marsh's solos. So here on beat 2 of the B flat major 7, he's playing on a B, and then resolving it to the B flat with chromatic approach, and then carries on, and then it happens again on beat 4 of the second measure, kind of a C sharp shape going to F sharp, which is a half step above the next chord, the F. And that's on beat 4 and then beat 2, just like the first part. Resolving to F. And then this is a phrase I did in my last video where I did that arpeggiation starting on the same note. Maybe I took it from here, I can't remember, I probably did. Where he's starting on a C, and then C going down to like a D7 altered kind of sound, which is really cool sounding. And that's sort of a D minor sound over a G7, even though it's not a G7 there, it's a G minor 7. So he's really playing with the chord qualities a lot. Major against minor, minor against major. And the reason that works is because the line is so strong, to the point where you don't even listen to the accompaniment as much. And this is something John Lewis was quoted saying about Lester Young. He said his horizontal conception, his lines were so strong that it didn't really matter what the harmony was underneath. He would carry it through. So if the line is strong enough, it carries the harmony in a sense. Not to say you would want to nail major thirds against minor thirds in the accompaniment, but the line definitely takes some liberties with the chord qualities and certainly conveys other meanings. So when we go to the next section, the spot I like after that, the bridge has this cool augmented line. It took me a minute to figure out what exactly was happening here, because you see all this diminished stuff and then you see all this augmented stuff. It sounds like this. Ending up on the third of a D7. But the F sharp is not the downbeat. It sounds like I'm landing on a downbeat, but that's the second beat. So 1. The E was the downbeat. So he's delaying the resolution to that D7, which is again something you can do with the line and that he does all the time. So the resolution to that D7 doesn't happen until beat 2. And if you want to learn how to play across the bar line like these guys did all the time, everyone talks about Lee Konitz playing across the bar line. It's because this is the way that they practiced in the 40s through Lennie and beyond. And you can really hear it in Warren and the guys that stuck close to Lennie throughout his life. They stuck to this sort of method of metric displacement, whereas Lee kind of went a different direction eventually, but it's still in there. So if you want to alter your phrasing and come in on different beats and things, learning these melodies, that's why I pulled it out today. I was, well, what can I do today to change my playing a little bit? Maybe I'll revisit some of these tunes. So this phrase, again. Is built on an A augmented chord, but it has diminished triads going down. So you have A, F sharp, D, F, D, B, C sharp, A sharp, G. So it's like a D sharp diminished, B diminished, G diminished. Basically diminished triads going down in an augmented shape, which gives you, and it also just sounds like chromatic approach to the augmented chord tones. So I really like that line. I'm going to be using that. I was already trying on another tune, Who Cares, which has the same augmented chord in the third measure. So over that chord, I could use this phrase. It resolves to a different chord, but it still works with the F sharp. So it's all about trying to take these ideas and work them into your playing so you actually know what's happening. I could just learn this melody, which I am trying to do, but I'm also trying to see what is cool about it. Because sometimes I'll hear these sounds when I'm improvising, and I want to create that sound that I'm hearing in my head, and it might be just from listening to this all day. And it's important to analyze so you can do that, so you kind of know what those notes are. Not just in your imagination, but it's important to keep the imagination thing going. And that's why singing solos is so important, and actually internalizing the sound of these things, the character of them. So that's about it. I'll play it through the end of the tune and see if there's anything else. There's sort of a half-step slip and slide. Like G to A flat. Another augmented sound. So there's augmented and diminished throughout, and including a lot of cool chromatic approach and metric displacement. Just one melody. This is one of my favorites by Lennie Tristano, but if you take any of the, I don't know if I can say hundreds, but at least 50 or 60 or 70 tunes by this school of musicians, you can learn a lot about playing with harmony and meter. So that's it for today. Please do subscribe if you get a chance. Thank you.